Hey everybody, so we're back with our third episode. We are in the midst of invading Poland. Just a recap from last time, we're pushing into the Danzig corridor, which should be ours within a few days. We've started to surround Poznan. We're on the doorstep of Lodz, and our panzers are pushing through the central, sort of southern part of Poland, are both of our Panzer Corps. I'm hoping that 1st Panzer breaks out into the plains soon, because these forests are really slowing them down here. So yeah, with that I'll get started. Some Polish units south of Krakow are counterattacking our mountain divisions. We're not gonna. I don't expect that to really make any progress. We've officially surrounded the Polish units in the Czeski, Tesin, and Rybnik area. We'll just keep pushing forward to Krakow with our 51st through 53rd Infantry Divisions. We've also started some runway cratering on Lvov, which is good. I'm gonna actually, as soon as this set of air battles is done, I'm gonna send our bombers back to their home bases just to recover for the next round of missions. Looks like KG4 isn't repairing very well in Breslau because the runway system we have over there is a little overloaded, so I'm going to move them to Prague. Alright, so 2nd Panzer Corps has broken through to Remdosko, so we're going to actually move 9th and 10th Panzer south to try to cut off these units here in Krakow, and then 6th, 7th, and 8th will head toward the Bug River up here. This is the Bug River right here behind Warsaw. Actually, you know, I think I'm wrong. That's not the Bug River. This is the Bug River. I'm not sure which river this is. 1st Panzer Corps is still stuck in Germany. Looks like 7th Infantry Corps has finished their advance down here, so we'll push across central Poland. Looks like Suwałki counterattack has failed for the Poles, so we'll advance a little further south. And we'll just do some test probing with 66 and 67 Infantry Divisions just to see how strong this front is right here. And we'll also tell 61st and 62nd Infantry to assist with these battles in the corridor. Okay, so it looks like when these battles should be in our favor. Let's check the Battle of Danzig. So there's a Polish light infantry and regular infantry division in the city against four of our divisions under Pfeffer, with naval gunfire support from our two surface fleets. It looks like the Polish fleet, at least part of it, is now in Danzig Harbor. A portion of it, I think, has escaped into the Baltic. I'm not 100% sure where, so I'm going to set our first surface action group on patrol, and maybe they'll figure out where they went. Okay, it looks like 5th Mountain might be able to push these Polish cavalry units to the east. And then the main Polish counterattack, so far of the war, it almost seems, is fighting right here. And they're making pretty much zero progress. So those two divisions are probably going to be close to shattering. And we're well on our way to surrounding Krakow from the north with our tank divisions. We'll also start our attack on Lodz with 46th and 47th Infantry. There's only one understrength garrison division in the city, so we should be able to push them out. Okay, we finally pushed into Poznan proper. Alright, let's get another round of air attacks going here. So, STG-1 will, let's see, what targets opportunity. So there's a Polish concentration here, so we're going to probably send our medium bombers off after that. I'm going to attack this Polish armored train and understrength light infantry division with our Stukas. And then our 2 kg or 4 kg or 4 bomber divisions are going to attack the main Polish concentration around Modlin and Warsaw. I expect to take some losses on this, but their runways are pretty damaged, so I'm not too overly worried. KG4 is a little roughed up. We'll give them another couple of days before they join that. Okay, so the Polish counterattack to Bielsko-Biała has failed. So we'll use 1st and 2nd Mountain to attack this division, which should break it pretty quick. And we'll also tell 12th Infantry Corps to move forward. 10th Panzer is about... well, at their current rate, they're about 3 days away from being behind Lwów, but I bet that, or behind Krakow, but I bet that will speed up. And we've captured Lodz. Our infantry hasn't reached the center of the city yet, but this combat is over. Let's check our bomber divisions and just see how they're doing. Okay, so acceptable damage. We've won the Battle of Danzig. That's good. The Polish corridor should be ours soon. I'm going to push 7th Infantry Corps directly toward Warsaw. And our 1st Panzer Corps is finally making some real progress here. I'll move their headquarters unit into the city along with these 2 infantry divisions. I have a mission for KG4. We're going to send them on another runway cratering mission. Okay, there they go. So the runway has not recovered, so that was overkill. So we'll use them for bombing the infantry in Krakow before our infantry starts their attack. Okay, looks like 10th Panzer is about to get behind the city. That's good. 6th, 7th, and 8th have slowed down quite a bit. Probably some logistical bottlenecks there. And then we'll move part of 9th Corps across the river. Okay, Danzig is ours. So the Polish ship should be evicted from port any moment now. It's up to our destroyers to actually detect them. Destroyers in this game have very high surface detection. Oh, sorry, that was a light cruiser. Let's see. Destroyers have high sub-detection and really high visibility, so they should be able to see. Well, visibility is the visibility of our ships, so I got that quite a little bit wrong. So we're trying to detect those Polish subs that got removed from Danzig, so there's a good chance we'll detect them. Our surface detection really isn't that great. I think that's because we don't have small warship surface radar yet, which it's a little early in the game, but we will eventually get that. And we've also pushed the Poles out of the Suwalki Triangle, this area here. So we're not going to advance any further with 70th Infantry just to hold this corridor, but we're going to take 68th and 69th and advance south opportunistically toward Brest-Litovsk. And then 64th Infantry is going to do some probing attacks against Modlin Fortress. And 65th will support. Danzig Infantry will move south, and then 61st will move south to 62nd, and we'll start an attack there. We'll also commence our frontal attack on Krakow. So just to give you guys a little bit more overview here, we haven't quite formed a large pocket yet. It's not really necessary to defeat Poland, but forming pockets is crucial to defeating the Soviet Union, otherwise their units just get pushed back, but the wall ends up getting too thick to crack when you get to around Moscow. So you really got to remove their units from the battlefield entirely. We will be doing that in France too, as kind of a prequel. Alright, so Lodz has fallen. Some pretty significant damage to the city. Right now we only have our 1st Panzer reconnaissance units in the city, so we need to get infantry in there ASAP to solidify our hold. 10th Panzer has pulled in behind Krakow, so they'll now cross the river. Looks like they get about 12 hours to accomplish that task. We'll also see if we can create an overrun on this Polish garrison unit that's retreating from the city. If you move a unit into a territory an enemy unit is retreating to and you get there first, that enemy disappears. That's called an overrun. So it looks like Poznan units have cracked, so we'll tell STG-1 to rebase. And then we'll get them on this Polish cavalry unit, which looks like it has some light armor. So there's our Polish armor. They don't have much, but it's there. It looks like it's part of their... Oh, hey. Naval battle. Okay, so Poland showed up. So we lost a destroyer. Let's move our light cruisers into the fray. We took some significant damage on our 1st destroyer group. Looks like the Poles retreated up to the Lithuanian coast. So we'll send our light cruisers up there along with our heavy cruisers. And it looks like we're going to have a pretty significant naval battle here. Let's see how that goes. Okay, they haven't detected each other yet, but they will. Speed things up a little bit. Let's go back down here and just check on things. So 6th Infantry Corps will tell to cross the river. Looks like STG-1's out of range, so I'm going to need to move them closer to a new airfield. And then they will attack Polish Cavalry Division in Gniezno. Okay. Looks like we've surrounded the units in Krakow, and the few that were in there have been crushed. Our 12th Infantry Corps has moved into Chechen, and then Cieszyn, really. Okay, it looks like we should be able to crush this Polish cavalry division here. 10th Panzer is being counterattacked, but it's a little too late to save their units, they're already gone. Alright, so we're almost to Warsaw. Okay. Actually, 46th and 47th will tell to advance straight ahead. We've captured Modlin as well with 64th Infantry, and they're going to try to recapture that, so I expect to have this counterattack develop into a much larger battle. Okay, the naval battle has started. Let's make sure we're at slowest speed, and then we'll just see how things are progressing. Alright. So they have a bunch of motor torpedo boats, they have some destroyers and submarines. And they're pretty outgunned. Alright, so they got 7 ships left. And we've won the naval battle. So they've lost 3 torpedo boats, 4 torpedo boats, 3 destroyers. These are large destroyers. The Poles built pretty large destroyers, and a submarine as well. And they're retreating to the northeastern Baltic. We're going to follow them. So 1st Panzer Corps is in the fray. We're going to tell them to move in and around behind Warsaw. And then I think the bulk of the fighting for the city will be done by 10th Corps. So we'll tell these guys to move up. Along with support from 9th Corps. So come on guys, get in the battle. Alright, so we've successfully surrounded these guys here. So our HQ unit is being attacked, but they're on defense and they're in an urban area, so I don't expect that to be any danger. 10th Panzer is really taking nothing from this counterattack, so they should be able to sustain that, no problem. Let's just tell Panzer Group, 2nd Panzer Corps to just advance to the river. Okay, we are developing a large encirclement here. This is good. Modlin was key to developing that encirclement, so let's check on our bombers. Let's retask them. KG-2 is going to attack these infantry as well, and then KG-1 is going to attack here. Okay, 1st Panzer has sped up significantly. They're in more favorable terrain. This is plains in this white color on the simplified terrain map mode. So I'm hoping to get around the back of Warsaw with 1st Panzer Corps to prevent this large group of Polish units from escaping. We'll see how successful that is. First Mountain Corps is going to advance. Hopefully, we'll get to Lvov faster than the Soviets. I don't know for sure. It's possible they'll get there first, and it's probably not going to matter because this city is in the Polish, or sorry, in the Soviet sphere of influence. Okay, come on, 1st Panzer Corps. It looks like they are engaging a Polish cavalry division that managed to get in our way. This should break pretty quick. Yeah, their organization is dropping significantly fast. Okay, 49th and 50th will advance into Grozek. Okay, 5th Corps is pretty much done. I'm going to move 21st and 22nd Infantry back to Danzig and Gdynia as garrison, because they're not really in the right place to participate in the rest of the battle. And then 23rd, 24th, and 25th, we'll see if they can. Alright, so the second naval battle against the Polish units running away. We got another one of their large destroyers and torpedo boat, and we lost Liebrecht Maas, our first destroyer. So we're down to 2 destroyers. Deutschland took some pretty significant damage, and its organization is basically 0. So we're going to move our Ostfleet back to Königsberg to repair. Surface Action Group is in pretty good shape, so we'll just get them to patrol the Baltic. We do have some more destroyers in production, so we'll be able to bulk up those guys. And our heavy cruisers and destroyers, for the most part, are staying in the Baltic, so it's not a huge deal to lose a few. Alright, so we got some pretty significant resistance developing in front of Warsaw at Tomaszów. Looks like we got 3 infantry divisions against a Polish infantry division and a Polish motorized division, which is probably why that's sticking. So we'll retask our tactical bombers against them. And then where did KG-1 end up? So they're attacking Lipno. That's kind of unnecessary. KG-1 is going to attack Warsaw, and KG-4 is going to attack Warsaw. And then STG-1 is going to engage this. We're going to have to get closer. The range on these early Stukins is pretty poor. Okay, so they're rebased out of Poznan. Now we can attack this Polish motorized division. Okay, we've pretty much eaten up most of Western Poland now. Okay, it looks like we've won the battle for Praga, so now it's a race to get across the river before these Polish units can. It looks like they have a bunch of a mixed mash of HQ regiments and a battle commander and some armored train units in Warsaw, so it's not going to be a huge obstacle for us. Okay, Torun's captured. Alright, 50th Infantry, 50th and 49th Infantry are in position, so as soon as 49th is out of its rest period, it's going to start the attack on Warsaw. Hopefully 50th can get into position soon. Okay, so we didn't complete our cutoff, but we're still crossing the river, and these Polish, really just headquarters units, are going to be shattered pretty fast by 4 of our panzer divisions under Hoepner. And that's exactly what's happening. So their only combat unit is this armored train, and it's rapidly being destroyed. Okay, so we're pretty much shattering these HQ divisions now. Okay, 52nd, 53rd are going to cross the river. 10th Panzer is going to start moving north again. Our mountain divisions can take this part of Poland here. And then these infantry divisions over here, honestly, they're a little too slow to participate in the rest of the battle, so we're going to just have them fan out and act as garrison units just for the remainder of the Polish campaign. And that's okay. It's not a larger campaign where we need them at the front ASAP. Okay, so 7th Army Corps is going to keep pushing straight toward Warsaw. Let's get our headquarters units a little further ahead. Yeah, so I'm violating my own rule here. Our HQ units should stay within logistical range. As long as this line is blue, it's fine. As soon as you see red lines on the chain of command, that means you've got units too far out of position to receive the logistical bonuses from their corps commanders. Okay, 50th Infantry is moving pretty slow. Don't really actually want to start the attack on Warsaw with one infantry division. I'd rather have 2 or 3 in place. So it looks like 10th Corps is going to be the key to do that. And 9th Corps will have push up to in front of Warsaw as well. Okay, 46th, 47th, and 48th are almost in position. We'll actually start our attack. 46th, 47th, and 49th Infantry. 48th as soon as they're in position. Okay, the Poles are doing something pretty stupid here. Their only units in Warsaw are now attacking Modlin, which has been garrisoned by one of our infantry divisions for already 4 days, so they have 4 days of digging bonus to defend this territory, so they're going to succeed at that pretty handily. Okay, the battle for Warsaw is developing. Looks like 46th and 47th can't engage in combat for another 12 hours or so. So 49th is really starting the battle on their own. And 1st Panzer Corps has crossed the river, or is about to, behind Warsaw, which is really good. Okay, 8th is going to cross. 9th is going to cross. And then our infantry divisions are going to just hold the river line for the most part. They're just not fast enough to keep up with our panzer divisions. Okay, 48th is almost in position, and they're going to join the attack. Okay, let's. Okay, we're finishing off the Polish units that are surrounded west of Warsaw. Let's get all of our air units in combat against these Warsaw units. So KG1, Warsaw, KG2, Warsaw, KG3 will also be Warsaw, and then KG4. There's really nothing worth attacking down here except for maybe this. We'll do some runway cratering on this Polish air base. Okay, we've won the battle for Praga again, and we've done it. So 1st Panzer Corps is across the river, so they've redeemed themselves from their initial slow start. They're not going to assist in attacking the city. Number one, panzers again in cities don't really agree, and there's also a river crossing in front of the city on this eastern aspect. So that's really not ideal for tanks. So we'll move 1st Panzer Corps across the Bug River toward Brest-Litovsk and maybe meet up with the Soviets right around where we would have historically. Okay, Kutno's has almost fallen, and then Kolo has fallen. Okay, what's our situation with 2nd Panzer? So 6th is advancing to the river, 7th and 8th to the river, 9th to the river, and 10th to the river. Okay, that's good. We'll advance with our mountain divisions, 3rd and 4th, so just in front of Lvov. We're kind of into their strategic depths now, so we don't really need to worry about too many more pitched battles. Not that there really were that many to begin with. 46th through 48th Infantry really need to get into this fight. Looks like, yeah, so there's only one Polish unit left in Warsaw, and it's an armored train. That should fall pretty quick. 64th can help them across the river now. Okay. looking good. There's some Polish units that are bunching up near the Lithuanian border. I'm not worried about them. The Soviets are kind of tearing into the borderlands pretty quick here. Okay, we have two headquarters units that are still sort of holding on to Katowice. Looks like a Polish cavalry division that's been cut off in Rybnik is trying to get further east. But our infantry divisions are going to beat them to it, so that's not a problem. As soon as 10th crosses, we're going to push into this airbase and prevent them from using it any further. 6th will cross the river. 1st Panzer is pushing across. 5th Panzer Division is a little lagging behind. They'll just stick into Praga and hold that chain of line of communications. Looks like we've won the battle for Warsaw. So we can retask our bombers to... Let's just bomb this motorized division here. Okay. This fight just doesn't seem to want to end, does it? Okay, 1st Panzer Corps has gotten a little bogged down. Let's see. Looks like terrain mostly. So this is plains. But the next territory they're advancing into is forest, so that's probably why. There is a marsh here. We're trying to avoid these two territories with our tanks. Okay, Warsaw has been captured. Industry is still pretty much intact. Their airbase is seriously damaged, which is kind of what we intended. They had some minor fortifications, and their industry on a resource level is damaged. That will recover. I'm actually going to turn on the game sound for a second and see if we can get... Sometimes there's music effects when you capture a major city like that. Let's just see what we hear. Okay, so that looks like Warsaw was all that was needed to get them to capitulate. So it'll initially award territory to what's been kind of controlled by the Soviets, and then since we captured the Polish victory points, we get everything else. But we'll be giving a lot of this to the Russians to honor the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. So you'll see that in a minute. Now we're going to start deploying a lot of our units to the west to get started for that, get ready for that campaign. We'll just let them just finish their movements. And then our air units can stop attacking. We'll just get them to start recovering a little. Leipzig, and then I think KG4 can go to... We'll send them to Dresden. Yeah, we got enough air bases there. Alright, so that's it for the Polish campaign. So let's just see if we can get the units to start redeploying. We'll finish the video with that. Got another U-boat division that has spawned. So the next video we're going to go over the setup for the Denmark and Norwegian campaign, and also the early stages of our prep for the French campaign in 1940. So, well, yeah, we'll be going over where we'll place things for our U-boat campaign. So all of these U-boats will be heading into the North Atlantic. Just get them assigned to the right chain of command. So our leader of U-boat under Admiral Donitz should have all of our USB Untersee boat groups. Looks like he does. Alright, so we're going to start redeploying. So let's look at our Western Command really quick. So 1st Army has 2 infantry corps, and they're going to stay that way because they really don't need any more strength than that. We won't be pushing through the Maginot Line really at all, except for maybe opportunistically at the very end. We'll be redeploying 3rd Army to, let's just do a select all, to Cologne, right here. And we'll use strategic deployment, which is how the game models mostly rail transport. And the game models, or I should say displays strategic movement with these blue arrows as opposed to normal movement, which has a green arrow. 4th Army we will redeploy to Essen. And then we're going to break off our 1st Mountain Corps from 4th Army, and we're going to keep them in Poland for now as a garrison corps. We'll be moving some SS and police units into Poland as well to sort of hold on to that. And then 5th Army will be moving to, I guess, Bremen for now. Yeah. Alright. We'll also be removing these armies from our eastern chain of command. So right now they're in Army Group East. We'll detach, detach, and detach. And then 1st Panzer Army is going to go to somewhere around Bonn and Koblenz for now. And we'll also detach them from Eastern Command. We'll move it up to 3 speed now since we're not in combat. Supply organization advance. Let's just double check on our research. So we're ahead on infantry, engineer unit training, and reconnaissance aircraft design. So we actually got to get caught up on our small aircraft and medium aircraft technologies. Looks like that's pretty much the only thing we're behind on. I guess we're a little behind on armament, so we'll bump those up to the top. And then let's just go through all of our technology. I think I got a little lazy on that. Looking good. Looking good. We're at late 1939, so 1940 technologies are fine to start throwing into queue. Here's our first radar for destroyer frigate. That should help. Land-based air warning radar is also helpful. Submarines, nothing significant, but we'll get started on these. Destroyer, yep. Let's see. This is called HFDUF, which is really high frequency detection finding. Is a system designed to intercept enemy radio transmissions and based on that triangulate position of an enemy submarine. So this is helpful for convoy escorts and destroyers to find subs. Hydrophone, similar thing, can be used by submarines and surface ships. And then damage control is just sort of how resilient and resistant to damage our small ships are to damage. I think that's good for technology now. Let's actually look at our SS units. We're going to move our 2 Deutschland Standartes into Poland. One of them will go to Warsaw, and the other one will go to Krakow for now. We're going to leave our SS garrison divisions mostly in Germany and Czechoslovakia for now. Let's check our decisions. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, we're going to honor the pact. Dishonoring it doesn't really give you a whole lot of benefit in Operation Barbarossa. It does give you a better starting position on either side of the Pripyat marshes, but I honestly value the trade with the Soviets for at least another year and a half, so I'm going to honor the pact. Okay, and that pulls the border between us to the Suwalki Triangle and the Bug River, which is where it was historically. So let's just get our units out of Soviet territory here. Alright, so we got troops in foreign territory. I do know about that. The same units are out of supply because they're not in our supply network, which is normal for being an enemy territory that you haven't declared war on. Let's also check on... Okay, Germania is in Wilhelmshaven, which is fine. And then... let's see. Oh, they're really in a different chain of command, aren't they? Yeah, okay, so Leibstandarte will stay in Berlin. We didn't trigger the Blitzkrieg decision, and that's fine. We didn't really need it for Poland, but we will certainly need it for France. So it says combat movement speed plus 10%. That's huge. That allows us to get across the river Meuse at Sedan, as was done historically, very quickly, and then push west through sort of the Reims and Ross direction to cut off the Allied armies in Belgium. So we'll certainly appreciate that movement speed. So we will trigger this decision. We'll just double check. We also get the Heimwehr Danzig unit, which is really just an SS militia division, but it's important for the formation of SS Totenkopf later, which is the 3rd Panzer Division. We also get an SA division, which I don't want, so I'm going to disband this. And these guys will just be a garrison force in Danzig for now. Alright, come on guys, time to get out of Soviet territory. Alright, so they're out. Let's, I don't really want to move it up past 3 speed, so I guess we got 2 or 3 minutes left, so let's turn on naval map mode. You can see where our patrol coverage is, but we don't really need to do that anymore. We're not at war with anyone else that borders the Baltic. It looks like there might be a Polish unit up by Finland, but we'll find that later. It's not a threat. So we'll move our cruisers back to Kiel. It looks like we still have about a year plus before we get any of our light carriers out of the shipyards. We got a major redeployment going on. All of our units are moving west. We got some of our fighter divisions engaging French and British fighters. So the war is sort of already started here. It's just very low intensity. Alright, so JG7. Where's JG7? I'm going to move them back to Berlin, and they're just going to set up for bomber defense. So we'll set them to covering East Germany. We also need... we're going to need some more fighter groups soon. JG4 is kind of holding down the fort here over France. I'm actually going to... I don't know, do we have air superiority with just one fighter division? It looks like we might. That's kind of cool. I just don't want to get any of our flying groups down too low in health, otherwise they're going to be destroyed and then I'll have to build another one. So I'm actually going to tell them to cool it just for a bit and recover some of their strength. The French shouldn't be pushing too far into Germany. Well, actually, oh, see, I spoke too soon. There's a French bomber group that's been bombing something. What have they been bombing? Okay, well, they've been bombing something. Oh, looks like they've been bombing Ostrava, which is a Czech city that's now part of Germany. So we'll actually take that as an opportunity to... I don't want to build a radar here. Just to build some anti-aircraft guns in that city. Not a big loss, though. Okay, looks like JG3 is now in the border air battles. Let's see how it does. So the French have a pretty poor interceptor technology level. Their attack modifier is pretty low. compared to ours, so we should win this battle pretty easily. We'll actually turn JG4 back on, but for a shorter range, just to cover the Black Forest side of Germany. And I think we'll leave it at that. The next video we'll go over our U-boat deployment, we'll go over our Western Front redeployment, and then we'll go over the plan of action for Operation Weserübung, the German attack on Denmark and Norway. So with that, I'll end the video, and thank you for watching.